when we've tried to do copy with AI, it will just come up with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've had AI come up with like sales and stuff that are not really happening. And so
Yep.
you'll see people out there saying, oh, you can like automate everything with AI and just like
No.
create a business that's completely hands off. And like, no, that's not true. That is not true.
No.
If you do that, it is going to cost you money. It is going to cost your clients money because it just sometimes makes up products that don't exist. It makes up sales that don't exist.
Yep.
So yeah, we still have to be very careful.
All right, everyone. So today we have Oguer, and I'm excited for him to share about what he does and, all about who he is. So, Oguer, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually grew up and am living in Mexico. And I currently own an email marketing agency where I work with clients from the US and Europe. So it's, of course, been a bit of a journey getting here, but it's a service that not many people, I mean, it's becoming more popular, but it's hard to find specialists in this area. So I saw the need and decided to start this agency, and it's definitely been an experience.
That's awesome. I like that. I also seen a need, and that's why we started doing social media for businesses because it's needed and it's changing so fast. And email marketing is the same way. Everything changes so fast.
Yeah, there's a new regulation each day, and then there's like new ways that the algorithms work, and like everything's changing so fast. I think we're kind of getting to a point where I know a lot of people want to do it themselves, but I think one of the perks of having a professional going at it is we're constantly updating our knowledge, and we're constantly on the lookout for like regulations and stuff. So we're always going to be able to advise you on even like the legal stuff. I think that's where a lot of people get a little bit lost.
Yeah,
So it's always good to have that counsel.
yeah, it definitely is. And yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because we're the same way. We're always learning and figuring out what's working, what's not working. And I tell my clients, like, whenever we change something, like whether it's a template or something like that, I test it out on myself first before I do it for them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Definitely. And also like handling so many accounts, you kind of start noticing those shifts in market and what's working and what's not. And so something that I've really loved is while building my own agency, I've always looked for clients who really respect our professionalism and our expertise. And so a lot of clients are like, oh yeah, go ahead. Like do whatever you think is best because you're
Yep.
the one who knows about this stuff.
Those clients are the best.
Yeah.
Because when you have clients that aren't like that,
Yeah.
it's a struggle. I
Yeah.
deal with it too. So, yeah. I
Yeah. No,
love it when they're just like, "You're the expert, you take care of it, and go." And it's like, "Alright, awesome."
and I usually see a lot better results with clients like these because they really do allow you to expand as a professional, and do whatever you think is best. So yeah,
Yep.
if there's any advice I can give to clients out there, it's if you're hiring a professional, it's because they know their stuff, right?
Yeah, and, like, what we do, we tell our clients, we make content for your ideal client.
Yeah,
We don't make content for you.
yeah,
So, if you don't like it, that doesn't matter. It's for your client.
yeah.
So, yep.
And I think we can kind of understand that, right? As business owners, when you have a business, you kind of come to a point where you have to separate yourself from your business
Yep.
because you kind of want to make it your thing because it is in many ways they're our babies, right? Uh, but your business, it's its own person and it's gonna grow in ways that you have not expected and you have to be open to.
Yep. That's so true. So true. So when it comes to emails, like what does it look like to work with you? Kind of tell the audience like how you help them and what all you handle for people.
Yeah, so we do the strategy for email marketing. And I think a lot of people, including myself, when I started in this space, I was like, is that still a thing? Like, are people still opening their email? It is, surprisingly.
Mhm,
Yes, it is.
mhm.
And it is one of the best ways to patch up your sales funnel. And I think this is one of the things very few people understand about email marketing. This is something to support your sales funnel. So I think the best example for that, and one of the emails that people are most familiar with, is the abandoned cart, right? So if someone adds something to their cart, and this is business to consumer, it's e-commerce, but if someone adds something to their cart and doesn't check out, they'll get an email saying, "Hey, you forgot this." And so that's kind of the patch on that works with your sales funnel. So in the start, what I do is I map out how a customer would interact with your website from finding your website or getting to know your brand all the way through checkout. And then we map that out and we figure out where your client can leave the sales funnel. And that's where emails come in to kind of reel them
Yeah.
back into the sales funnel and then turn them into first time purchasers. And then what happens after that, right? How do we get them to purchase again? And so I've had people in the past like ask me like, what's more important? Is it social media? Is it email marketing? Is it, and I'm like, you can't really put one above the other. Like it all
Mm-mm.
works in tandem and
Uh-huh.
they're all mechanisms to drive people back into your sales funnel. So that's pretty much what we do. And I think that's where people can understand where the value is because it's not just reaching out. It's not just maintaining client relationships, which is important on its own, but it's a pivotal part of your sales funnel.
Yep, it really is, and I like how you said that, people ask what's more important, social media or email, and you're so right when you said they're equal. They both help each other,
Yep.
and it's good that you say that because we just started doing email campaign for one of our clients, and
Hmm.
we're like, "We know how to do them. We can help you with that too," and we know that that's gonna increase everything a lot
Yeah.
by using the 2 together.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the past, I've had clients who have been, maybe sending a standard 12 campaigns a month and then wanted to reduce costs. And they've been like, oh, let's do 4 campaigns. And we'll always advise against that because you can immediately see the drop in revenue. And it is astounding how connected this all is.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah. Yep. You're right. Awesome. And what is your, company called?
It's OG Brander, so it's based on my name, Oguer, OG as in original. It's OG Brander. I
I like that.
started out as a branding freelance, so branding was my specialty. I worked for a couple of global companies doing some branding work, and then when I wanted to start out on my own, I was like, well, I'm gonna do branding, which I really do love branding. Uh, but there's something about email marketing and as someone who started his career as a creative, it's really funny to me that I enjoy numbers so much and like metrics and strategy. Like I never thought being a designer for a trade, I never thought that I was going to be so into like metrics and stuff. But yeah, so eventually I pivoted to that because not only am I really good at it, but there's also a big need right now in the market because not a lot of people are doing it. um,
Yeah.
and I
And
constantly get clients who have been ill advised in the past. They burn out their domains. So it's not only something that is new in a way and there's not too many people doing it. Um, it's also something that can be delicate if you don't do it right. So there was a need in the market. It was something I enjoyed. That's how we kind of pivoted to that.
that's really awesome. And it is very, you know, picky when it comes to emails because you can, burn your domain really easily. I know that my business partner, Kyle, he'll only send out a certain amount of emails at a time because that's what you need to do, so then you don't get hit.
Yeah, and also I think one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is like blasting their entire list without doing the proper segmentation. So for example, right now, even for like sales, Like, let's say I have a sales period with 6 emails going out during the sales period. I will always plan out my emails so we have some big like emails where, yeah, we want to blast everyone when we let them know there's a sale. But then some of the following emails I wanna segment for a more engaged portion of your list
Yep.
because I don't want to burn out your deliverability, and that can be bad because sometimes your email is tied to your main domain. That sounds weird.
It
Uh,
does.
but you don't want to burn out your main domain. Like you don't want email providers like Gmail, Hotmail, because yes, some people still use Hotmail and Outlook and all of them. You don't want them flagging you as spam.
Yep.
No.
That's for sure. And how much has AI changed what you do? Is AI continuing to help, or is it making things more difficult?
So we try not to abuse AI.
Mhm.
First of all, because we know there's an environmental impact. There are many political considerations to be had with AI. So we do try not to abuse it. Uh, but at the end of the day, it is a tool that you can harness from time to time. We try to do it as responsibly as we can and as little as we can. What I have found with AI is, yes, it's a tool that can be a fantastic tool, but it still needs a lot of supervision.
Oh, yeah.
So if I have to have someone supervise an AI so much, I just rather have someone do it.
Yep.
So we try to allocate it where it makes sense. But for most of the things that AI can do, we still have to overlook. We have to have a person check that it did the right thing. It also comes up with, this is so funny to me, when we've tried to do copy with AI, it will just come up with stuff.
Mhm.
Like we've had AI come up with like sales and stuff that are not really happening. And so
Yep.
you'll see people out there saying, "Oh, you can like automate everything with AI and just like create a business that's completely hands off." And like, no, that's not true. That is not true. If you do that, it is going to cost you money. It is going to cost your clients money because it just sometimes makes up products that don't exist. It makes up sales that don't exist.
Yep.
So yeah, we still have to be very careful.
And if you do it just shows that you don't really care about your business. You don't care about the clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I use AI, and how I tell people, the way that I use it is I use it like it's another employee. It's like, it could do, like, 60 to 80% of the work, but I
Mhm.
still gotta do it the last, 20% at least to make it my own, or make it right for the client, or whatever, you know?
I also think AI is a lot flashier than what it really is. And so
Mhm.
we became really impressed with it early on, but it is very limited. And so as you continue to use it, like I'll see it get stuck in the same cycle of thinking. And so, for example, if we're trying to like come up with content ideas and we use AI for that, it will suggest the same content over and over again. And then you can tell it, hey, you've suggested this enough. Like, let's pivot to something else. And eventually it'll come back to it. And
Yeah.
so when you are developing a professional marketing strategy, whether it's email or social media or paid media, whatever you are doing, if you really care about the strategy and you want to have positive impact for your clients, you can't be relying on AI to do that. You have to take a moment to just review your client's objectives and then create a strategy tailored. So that's where I agree with what you say. You can treat it as an employee that needs a supervisor. So it's taking off some of the bulk work that needs to be done. But at the end of the
Yep.
day, someone has to be editing it.
Yep. Exactly. And, I really love that you don't use it a whole lot, because I think that that is going to be worth a lot more in the future.
Yeah.
The fact that you are still doing things with, because, like, let's face it, I bet most of the businesses that do emails,
Hmm.
I bet you 95% of it is AI,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you're not doing that. And I think that's really cool, and I think it's going to be worth a lot of value from here going forward. It's just going to keep getting more valuable to have that human actually making the emails.
And I've seen artists talk about this where they're predicting like in a few years, human made art is just going to skyrocket in pricing. It's just going to be all that much more valuable. Uh, I also think, to be honest, email is something that you can get lazy with and not tank if you do the bare minimum. And so I think a lot of the people who are doing like AI strong email campaigns and marketing are doing that. Like they're doing the bare minimum so the account doesn't tank and you see like some results, but that's never going to push you over the edge. So I would always, and I never like to like put anyone down, but I would always be wary of anyone who like brags about being like super AI with a marketing company.
Yeah, I agree with you. So before we wrap this up, what is like the top subject line right now that you're kind of using?
Oh, um, we try to be as creative as we can with the
Yeah,
subject lines because that's where you catch people. Where I do catch myself repeating a lot is with the emojis. So
really?
that one emoji that looks like the picture of the I don't know what it's called in English. It's the scream, just the like
Oh,
screaming.
yeah,
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 I use that emoji a lot, and I am a Klaviyo specialist, and my agency is Klaviyo partner and Shopify partner. So Klaviyo just starting doing your wrapped year, kind of like what Spotify does. Uh, and so you get to see like a couple of fun metrics. They're not like really decision making metrics, but they're fun
yeah.
metrics. And so we got this metric of like your most used emojis, and it was that one. So yeah, I ended
That's
up doing that
awesome.
one a lot. But what we do with subject lines, and I think this is very important, it's often overlooked, is we test for subject lines. And so we can test for the way you write the subject line as a statement versus a question. And so you have the same topic, but you test what your audience reacts best to. And so what platforms like Klaviyo does is they send out that same email, different subject line, or depending on, what you want to test. And then you can decide between, let's say, we usually do a 40% versus 40% of the audience. And then the winning email gets sent to the remainder. And
Okay.
so what you do there is you see what your audience best reacts to, and then you start sticking to that. You see, for example, if I wanted to test the subject line, I want to test for opens because I want to see what kind of language drives people to open my emails. And so I think that's something where you can do testing and decision making in marketing is technically so easy because you do it based in metrics, not just what you think is going to work. So
Yep.
that
So
would be
true.
my answer to that. Test
Yeah,
as
I
much
like
as
that. And do you have good luck putting the recipient's name in the subject line?
we do, depending on what
Yeah.
types of campaigns.
Yep.
Um, so we sometimes do that when it's like more personal campaigns. So, for example, if we send out a Christmas email, we
Yep.
want it to feel more personal. So we do include like names and stuff. Sometimes for sales, depending on the client, because it depends on how their audience react. Sometimes for sales, weirdly enough, it's not as effective.
Hmm.
Again,
Hmm.
depending on each account.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it's because sales are slightly more pitchy in a way, and so people don't want to feel patronized. And so I think people can sometimes, if you add like their name and like a lot of personalization and information, they know you're doing it, and so it can kind of feel disingenuous. And so for some accounts, it'll be just better to plain out say this is a sale, just shop, So yeah, again, it depends. You test, you get to know your client's audience, and then you stick to what you.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. So, how can the audience reach out to work with you?
So they can reach us at our webpage, which is ogbrander.com. We also offer a free email audit. So if you already have a Klaviyo account, we can start off by going through it, letting you know if we find anything that can be optimized. And then if you wish to continue to work with us, that's always ideal for us, and we can move over to a retainer. So they can reach us through our website, through our social media, which is also our as OG Brander, or they can reach me at my email, which is same as my name is spelled, Oguer at ogbrander.com.
Awesome, awesome, thank you. And my slogan is, your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Um, I love that because I'm late diagnosed autistic.
Okay.
And so as I got my diagnosis a couple of years ago, actually, I started looking back on my entire life and just like being like, oh, that's why everything the way it was. Uh, but then I never, when I got the diagnosis, of course, it took me a while to kind of adapt to that and like assimilate it. But I never saw it as, oh, well, there goes everything, like I never saw it
Yeah,
as a limitation or something that was going to stop me. I always see these sorts of like unexpected things as, oh, okay, like here's something new that I now know about myself. And so now I can work with this instead of against this because I didn't know it was
yeah,
there. Maybe I was working against it. And so I've cut myself some slack when, I'm feeling like I just can't push through. I'm like, okay, look, take a moment and then we'll regroup and try again. And so that's how I would interpret that. The only thing that can make you not infinite and not the only thing that can kind of stop you and put you in a box is if you feel like that thing is going to stop you and put you in a
yep. I agree with you 100%. And I love how you took that diagnosis, because a lot of people take it as like, oh, this is, I
yeah,
can't do anything.
yeah,
And I like that you like me. You like, you know, this is just a part of who I am. It's
yeah,
whatever. It explains a lot. Cool, but I'm not gonna stop because of this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Au contraire, I think it kind of helped me. Like I used to struggle in public settings because there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of people, and
yeah,
I always knew I wasn't like a public settings type of person. But now I have like the best uh, noise canceling headphones, and so if I would need to go to the mall, like I avoid it like the plague. But if I need to go, then I
yep,
can wear those and I can stand to be there for like an hour. Whereas before it was like 5 minutes. So instead of seeing it as, oh no, what am I going to do now? It's like, oh no, this is gives me the ability to know what I'm going to do.
yep, yeah. Now you understand yourself a lot better,
Yeah,
which is really cool.
I definitely do.
Awesome, awesome. Well, this was really fun. Thank you for being on the show. And we will be getting a hold of you because I would like to learn more about emails and how we can do better ourselves.
Definitely. I'm here whenever you need me, and thank you so much for having me. This was really fun.
Awesome. If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth, help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite. This episode is sponsored by Atopic AI for Opportunity. Atopic is an AI-powered opportunity discovery platform, and the best word that I can describe it is ChatGPT, but instead of giving you information, it gives you real people you should be connecting with. Whether you're looking for clients, partners, investors, job prospects, or high intent leads, Topic makes it simple. You just type what you're looking for, and the AI thinks through thousands of signals, and then surfaces verified prospects with context, not random lists. It even helps you follow up nurture conversations, and track your pipeline. What I love about Atopic and why I'm excited to have them as a sponsor is that they're solving the biggest problem in business growth, finding the right people at the right time. If you haven't yet, go to atopic.com and try it. It's one of the smartest tools out there for people trying to grow their business.